record 52.6 million Americans are set to travel by plane over the course of the rest of 2025, an increase of about 1% from a year earlier. But according to my next guest, the affordability crisis could start weighing on the travel economy going into next year. We're joined now by Katie Nastro, Going travel expert. Katie, thanks for being here. So we've been talking a lot about the K-shaped economy, the affordability crisis. Are we starting to see that show up at all in how people are traveling, the choices they're making?
Yeah, look, affordability is becoming really the question in the story of travel. You know, as the market is splitting into high-income travelers continuing to travel and look towards more premium experiences, and then lower-income travelers really being selective. You know, we're actually seeing a pullback in terms of the amount of anticipated trips that the average traveler is looking to take in 2026, specifically internationally, and that's the first time since 2023. You know, premium cabins are booming. Just premium investment by airlines are really booming, while the average traveler is feeling a little bit squeezed. You know, economic uncertainty is one of the three most or highest data points that we found over at Going. That is why we're seeing sort of that potential pullback for 2026. But what is really interesting here is when you isolate airfare only, you know, looking at inflation-adjusted airfare over 2025, June was the second cheapest month ever recorded. You know, at the basic level, base airfares are some of the most affordable that it's ever been in sort of the history of flying. And so, you know, even with this K-shaped economy where airlines are definitely heavily investing in that premium traveler, you know, it is still affordable for that average traveler to go out and explore the world.
But are a lot of people, you know, opting for, say, road trips, for example, instead of taking those flights?
Yeah, and you know, and we definitely have seen an uptick in, or a moderate uptick, I should say, in road travel across 2025. You know, looking specifically at Thanksgiving, which is an interesting time period because coming off of that government shutdown, that lengthy government shutdown, that really had a ripple effect across air travel. There was a little bit of shyness in terms of looking to fly during that time period in the worry that there was ripple effects even still. But, you know, those, when you're looking at holidays specifically, Thanksgiving, the winter holidays, those are driving holidays. You know, majority of travelers are going to be driving during these time periods, which I think people tend to forget because air travel is so much more accessible and fares have come down and more people year after year after year do travel by plane. So, you know, majority of 2025 has been a mix, and there certainly has been a portion of people that have opted to take road trips versus flying because of economic uncertainty and because they want to look towards a more quote-unquote affordable trip and an easier trip. And, you know, gas prices, some of the lowest they've been in years, which can definitely play a factor in your overall travel costs.
So people trying to save money, but on the other end, we know there are people who are still willing to spend money, right, on this stuff. What kind of trends are we seeing then on that upper income end of the spectrum?
Yeah, when it comes to that premium travel, so to speak, you know, we're actually seeing that majority of our travelers, according to our Going State of Travel, are looking to spend up when they are taking these sort of big moment trips, mostly on accommodations. And then the second highest category would be on the creature comforts of upgraded flights. So thinking, you know, extra leg room, business class, premium cabins. Premium economy, for example, is the fastest growing sector in terms of the seat type that we're seeing more travelers are looking to spend into. And it's really sort of a great entry level for anyone that is sort of maybe a little bit more flush with cash. They want to have a more comfortable experience, but those business class tickets are sort of beyond their threshold for spending. And premium economy is definitely that sort of segue, but it is a segue that then wants you to continue to want to travel quote unquote luxuriously. So it's, right. You know, the airlines love it. It's one of their best performing sectors, and we can definitely see more people looking towards that as sort of that entry-level model or entry-level ticket for luxury travel, so to speak, in plane travel.
Right. And Katie, one other thing I wanted to ask you about is like social media-driven travel, right? People are looking at influencers. They're you know, you see these trends take hold on TikTok or wherever, and then people that becomes the next hot spot for people to travel to. What are sort of the pros and cons of that whole phenomenon?
Oh gosh, yeah, the trendification of travel. This is really an area that we've seen growing specifically due to social media. Interestingly enough, though, friends and family are still the #1 source for the average traveler when it comes to recommendations. But when you're looking at younger demographics, an overwhelming amount, over 50% of our travelers surveyed during our State of Travel stated that they look towards social media as their planning, their inspiration for making their next getaway. And so that's leading to, again, that trendification in travel, destinations seeing an explosion of interest in searches by way of travelers. You look at destinations like Sicily due to the White Lotus, et cetera, et cetera. But on the ground costs can then skyrocket. Yes, you're getting airlines investing in more routes to meet that demand from that trendification, but on the ground costs can skyrocket, upwards 30, 40, 50%. And that really has a toll on the local, not just the local economy, but it has a toll on locals in itself. That day-to-day sort of minutia can really be disrupted. And so these destinations that are bucket list are becoming sort of these, it's an unfortunate ripple effect of social media having such an impact on travel.
Right, and we've definitely seen in some of those places some backlash from those local residents that you mentioned. Katie, thanks so much. Happy holidays and happy travels to you if you're going anywhere.
Yeah. Yes, thanks so much. Happy travels to all.
Thanks.